from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's favorite gun-toting, Bible-clinging, deplorable American.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
Oh, yeah.
And hello, America. Welcome to the Todd Starnes radio program, your voice of truth and hope across this great nation. Wow, we've got a great show for you today. A lot going on. By the way, President Trump says, be cool. I like that. Look, the president in great spirits, the president very confident in how all of the tariff controversy is playing out. And as it now stands, we are basically in a de facto economic war with China. And this is going to be a good thing for America. And again, I understand there are a lot of people that are really concerned, very worried about their 401ks. Look, here's the deal, folks. Just don't do anything. Let's ride this thing out. The markets rise, the markets fall. But again, the markets are not the economy. But there's also a lesson for all of us here. And have you ever had anybody in your family that's been addicted to something? Like, I don't want to be dark, but like, for example, drugs. Say you've got somebody that in your family that's been addicted to drugs. So what happens? Well, you get the family together and you have an intervention. And in the course of the intervention, maybe you send the person off to rehab. And the person has to go through withdrawal. It's a very ugly, scary, painful experience. But at the end of the day, you come out sober and you come out a better person. And really, that's what's happening in this country. We have become addicted to all of this cheap crap coming from China and a lot of these other countries. And as a result of that, now President Trump is saying, wait a second, you don't understand. When you buy that cheap crap, you're hurting America. And this has been going on for 30, 40 years. And the Republicans and the Democrats, they just haven't really wanted to do anything about it, right? So now Donald Trump is finally saying, we've got to do something about it. We're not kicking the can down the road anymore. And this is what being a leader looks like. When you see what Donald Trump is doing right now in the country, this is leadership. The president has a plan. He knows what he's doing, and he is implementing that plan. And he's telling everybody, hey, you got to get on board. And if you don't get on board, get out of my way. But you're going to have Republicans, and we know of at least 7 in the U.S. Senate that are working with the Democrats to stop Donald Trump. You've got some House Republicans. You've got Don Bacon out of Nebraska leading an effort to stop President Trump and these tariffs in the House. And why are they doing this? Why are the Republicans running scared now? Well, the answer is very simple. Because this is going to be a painful process, and they're concerned about their jobs. They're concerned that the American people are going to blame them for whatever might be happening with their bank accounts right now. But my recommendation is very clear. This is a good time to buy. If you're into the market, get out there. You're going to be able to pick up some great stocks at great prices. But also, you need to start being a better consumer, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be making sure that the products you are purchasing, that you are buying, actually come from the United States of America, that are actually made on American soil. And that's really going to be a big change in lifestyle for so many Americans who just walk into the store, they buy whatever's cheap on the aisles and on the racks, and that's it. Well, we can't do that anymore. We've got to make sure that the things that we are purchasing are made in America. And quite frankly, we need to be shopping at mom and pop stores. I'm a big fan of shopping at mom and pop businesses. And I've got nothing against the corporations. And hear me on this. I love the corporations. I love the big guys. I will say this. The corporations, though, have ruined radio across America. And the only saving grace for radio are the ones that are owned by smaller groups or mom and pop businesses. And most of this, I would say about 90%, maybe even 95% of the radio stations that carry this program are actually owned and operated by families. And you know what? They're doing great. A lot of these big conglomerates, they're hemorrhaging. Every week they're laying people off and they're cutting local programming. Everything is run out of some big city. and it's not working. And the reason why is because for radio to work, radio has to be local. And that's ultimately why I shop as local as humanly possible. And yeah, I may pay a few extra dollars, but you know what? I'm supporting a locally owned business. I'm supporting a locally owned family. I'm putting money in their pocket. And a side note here, folks, and again, I've got nothing against, I'm going to use this as an example. There's a local hardware store I love to go to, and they've got everything under the sun, and if they don't have it, they'll order it for me. And yeah, I'm probably going to pay a few extra dollars, and actually I know I do. And I'm okay with that. But you know why? Because when I need something in a lurch or I got a question, I can call them up and they're going to help me out. I got no problem with Lowe's, Home Depot, none of those people. But given the option, and I'm curious, given the option, would you rather shop at a local mom and pop establishment, or would you rather shop at a place like a Home Depot or a Lowe's? Would you rather eat at, what is it? Ben Dieter's favorite restaurant. What is it? Bonanza? It's one of those buffet places. Did I get that right, Dieter?
No, not at all.
I thought it was Bonanza. Didn't your family used to go and eat at Bonanza when you were a kid?
I don't even know what Bonanza is. What is that?
What is that? Like a steak? It's like a buffet.
Golden Corral, maybe.
Golden Corral. That was it. It's one of the ones where you have all you can eat little things that they call shrimp, but I'm not sure they are.
Yes.
And I don't mean to be throwing shade at Golden Corral. What I'm saying is, would you rather eat at a Golden Corral or would you rather eat at a local mom and pop restaurant?
Golden Corral. Wait, no, that's the wrong answer. A local mom and pop restaurant.
You want to eat at the local mom and pop restaurant.
I just love Golden Corral.
But that's fine. Go eat at Golden Corral then. You don't know what you're going to be eating or who's putting what in the food. That's fine. Wait a second. They're not a sponsor, are they?
No.
All right, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, I'm just. For example, I will use this as an example. You can go down and you can eat, and this is going to be heresy. You can buy a Hershey bar down at Kroger or Piggly Wiggly, and it's going to be a great Hershey bar. But may I just say, the best freaking chocolate I have ever had and I am not kidding you here, folks. The best chocolate I've ever had is from Dinstall's here in Memphis, Tennessee. A candy shop that's been around for over 100 years, and it's run by a family.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You may pay a little bit extra, but you are getting great quality products. It's delicious. And if I'm going to get diabetes, I'm going out with the good stuff.
You know, I think you're right, Todd. You know, my sister called me in a panic because she's worried about, buying clothes for the kids and how is she going to look great when she goes on her vacation with her girlfriends coming up this spring, because they all go to H&M and they go to Zara and they go to all of these stores. And frankly, you just do a quick Google search. A lot of those clothes are made from like coal mines, Todd, overseas. They're in like these sweatshops, but the products are really cheap and the clothes look fine. They're really cheap. I'm just going to say that. Not great quality, but they're cheap, and that's why a lot of people like them. So she calls me in a panic yesterday. She's like, who's going to make my sweater? I'm like, do you know what you're saying? There's plenty of people that make sweaters. I bet in our listening audience, you have some seamstresses out there that could make my sister a sweater, and it would be durable and made in America.
And that's the point of it all, right? That is the point, is that this is all cheap crap. And the problem is just like being hooked on drugs. We're addicts. We want cheap, and we want a ton of cheap crap. And that there was a time in America. You've seen the TV show Hoarders. I mean, that's the American people. I mean, that's why so many people love this kind of stuff, these kinds of shows, because people are hoarding cheap garbage. And I'm not saying everything coming out of I may be saying everything coming out of China is cheap garbage. But what I'm telling you is, we've got to really rework and re-engineer our thinking and our brains so that we are focused on where these products are being made. I buy my furniture from a place called Chestnut Hill in Germantown, Tennessee, and they sell American-made products, and I love it because there are little tags to everything they make, and it is good, solid furniture. You can tell it was made by an American. I love that kind of stuff. So I'm all over it, and again, I'm curious to hear from you because I see so many people. They go to Walmart and they buy the furniture that they can put together and all that kind of stuff, and it's coming from overseas. And all Trump is trying to say is we've got to stop this, people. We have to be self-sufficient. We've got to start looking out for Americans. I know it's kind of cliche, but we got to put America first. That's what this is all about. But I want to go back to radio for just a moment. And I just got a text from our friend Wyatt Cox over at the Nevada Talk Network. Again, another locally owned radio station. He says, Starnes, you're singing my song. Local radio gives local businesses affordable access to new customers. And it's so true. On KWAM, the radio station I own, we get one of the happiest times is when I hear from one of our advertisers, and they say, you're not going to believe how many calls we've been getting as a result of our ad, or how many new clients we've gotten. You don't get that in any other genre. And if you do, you're paying out the wazoo, so you're never really making a bang for your buck. And on radio, we want you to get big business. We want your ads to work. And my focus as a local radio station owner, and let me take off my national talk show host hat for just a moment, but my mission for being a locally owned radio station is to help you grow your business. That's what we do here. But if you're part of the conglomerate, you don't give a crap about what's happening in a place like Memphis or St. Louis or Houston. For you, it's all about bringing in as much money as you possibly can so you won't have to file for bankruptcy this month. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And what's happening with radio and the industry at large is the same thing that's happening with the rest of the country right now. So anyway, good for President Trump. I'm excited about what he's doing here. And yes, it is going to be painful. And maybe the administration can be a little bit more direct about that. But the reality is it's going to hurt for a little while. But the long-term results here, do you understand? President Trump, we were heading towards oblivion. We were heading towards Venezuela. President Trump slammed on the brakes. And you know how close we were to Venezuela? Do you understand all of these mobs that you're seeing fighting against Elon and Tesla and Trump? You've seen them all. These are all paid protesters. These people are now openly calling for the assassination of wealthy people in America. Look, this is straight out of the communist playbook. We have seen this play out over and over and over again. Look at what happened in Venezuela, where they want to set up a class war. It's not good enough that they wanted to start a race war. And by the way, the race war failed. It failed. They tried to get whites and blacks literally fighting each other in the streets. And by and large, that has failed. And a lot of that has to do with so many black Democrats rising up and saying, you know what? Yeah, we don't want anything to do with this Democrat Party. They don't care anything about us. So this is where Trump is right now. He is in the throes of trying to save our country. And the sad reality is you've got a good many people in the Republican Party that are not standing alongside of him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a shame. All right, we got to take a break here. 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
President Trump says Todd Starnes is a fierce defender of freedom, and he says Todd's new book is an absolute must-read. Twilight's Last Gleaming, Can America Be Saved? Available at your favorite bookstore.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I did the research, and since I've been taking the supplement, I am sold on the product. I tell everybody about it. My sister and brother-in-law were on it. They started it in October of last year. I'm very grateful for the product. I tell everybody, I swear by it. Many people that can be on it, I absolutely 150% recommend it.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Don't wait. Now's the time to take action. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
The story of MyPillow is a testament to faith and transformation. Mike Lindell, once battling addiction, found a new path when he embraced faith and began following Jesus. In gratitude, Mike is excited to share an exclusive offer with our listeners. Right now, the standard MyPillow is available for just $14.88, a savings that's too good to pass up. There's a limit of 10 per customer, so don't wait to take advantage of this amazing deal now with promo code STARNS. Mike believes God gave him the idea for MyPillow in a dream, and it's designed with your comfort in mind. The pillow holds its shape and adapts perfectly to your unique sleep position, helping keep your neck aligned for the best night's sleep. And there's more. Take home a 4-piece kitchen set for only $25. Enjoy the new mattress topper at $99.99 or pick up the luxurious MyPillow bedsheet starting at $49.98. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS to unlock huge discounts. Don't miss out. Order today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a 70-year-old man. I'm not a young guy, and I'm an ex-athlete. Well, yeah, when I was taking it, I recognized that I was feeling better. You know what I'm saying? And just mentally knowing is important also.
I am a customer of you guys. I love your product. Love it, love it. Nothing but good things to say about your product. I love it. And as long as y'all are going to sell it, I'm going to take it as long as I can.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Caroline Levitt. Wow, she is a fearless woman. You know, she's the youngest press secretary we have ever had in the history of the Republic, and she is really crushing it. Caroline Levitt writing this on X just a little while ago. And I want to get your take on this. She's talking about people, and you know, if you get a lot of emails, and we get a lot of emails here at the Todd Stearns Radio Show. I mean, a lot of emails. And every now and again, you'll see people that post their pronouns in their signatures. And so Caroline Levitt's talking about this, and she said, I don't respond to people who use pronouns in their signatures. It shows they ignore scientific realities and therefore ignore facts. I love this. This is brilliant. And we've been practicing this for a very long time here on the Todd Stearns Radio Show. First of all, if you send me a resume, for example, and you put your pronouns in the signature line, I don't even look at it. I just don't. Also, there have been some very high-profile personalities, celebrities, and we have a lot of people wanting to come on the show because we, for whatever reason, we have a very literary audience. So you guys love to read books. And so a lot of the publishers, they know this, and their marketing people know this, and so they're always trying to get authors on this program. And so we're happy to accommodate when we can, provided I've read the book. But there have been a couple, and I'm talking New York Times bestsellers, and their marketing people, publicists, they've actually reached out, and they said, hey, can we get this person on the show? And I see that they've got their pronouns, and we just won't bring them on the show. I mean, that is the clear-cut sign of someone being woke. And that's sort of a new thing here in the country where you've got all of these Gen Zers and a lot of millennials, and they're posting like it'll be Todd Stearns / he, his. Or they'll have someone like, Bill / they, them, zer, zee, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-a, or something like that. But some people say, well, that's just rude. They want you to know who they are. I don't need to know who they are. I can tell who they are by reading their name. Well, unless their name is Pat, and then it could go either way. Or Terry. Okay, there are a couple. Sue, for example. Well, you've got the boy named Sue, so Sue could go either way, I suppose. But by and large, if your name is Carl, or if your name is Darlene, there's a pretty good indication, I would say about 100% guarantee, that Carl's a dude and Darlene's a gal. I'm just saying. So anyway, good for you, Caroline Levitt. And you know that's triggering a lot of people. Oh, I've never heard back from Caroline. Why hasn't she returned my emails? She's ignoring me. Hashtag Zer, Zim, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-a. I get it. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. Want to remind you, folks, we are in the middle of pre-launch sales for my brand new book. It'll be out in June, but we are launching pre-sales this week. My publisher very excited about the project, and I am too. Everybody who's read this book, they've come away inspired, and they feel a little bit more patriotic, and I love that. The name of the book is called Star-Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots, and I tell a lot of stories that haven't previously been told about how Christianity played such an important role in the founding of the country. So you're going to love this book. Again, Star-Spangled Blessings, and you can pre-order at your favorite bookstore, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, wherever you get your books. You'll be able to get a copy. All right, hang tight, everybody. Got to take a quick break. This is the Todd Stearns Show.
Mama, what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
When the wolf?
Oh, a wolf. Ooh!
What about the tiny dog? Cat? Owl? Dolphin? What does the turkey say? Whale?
Yeah, whale Giraffe, really? Okay. Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/
the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com, and remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is Medishare. Maybe you've heard switching to Medishare to pay for health care can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for Medishare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medishare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face, never let them have too much screen time, and never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed, never ever become a minivan mom, and you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
All right, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank was on CNN. He's a regular there, and I love this guy. He just tells it like it is. And one of the things that really perplexes me is you've got all these Republicans up on Capitol Hill, and Democrats as well, and they've been in power for decades, and they have done nothing about the trade wars. China, they've been taking advantage of us for generations, and nobody's been willing to stand up to the Chinese and say, yeah, those days are over. And so O'Leary, I thought, did a brilliant job of explaining all of this last night on CNN. Take a listen.
104% tariffs on China are not enough. I'm advocating 400%. I do business in China. They don't play by the rules. They've been in the WTO for decades. They have never abided by any of the rules they agreed to when they came in for decades. They cheat, they steal IP. I can't litigate in their courts. They take product, technology, they steal it, they manufacture it, and sell it back here. Never has an administration.
400% tariffs? What would that
I
look
want
like?
Xi on an airplane to Washington to level the playing field. This is not about tariffs anymore. Nobody has taken on China yet, not the Europeans, no administration for decades. As someone who actually does business there, I've had enough. I speak for millions of Americans who have IP that have been stolen by the Chinese. I have nothing against the Chinese people. They brought great literacy, art, and tech to the world. The government cheats and steals, and finally, an administration, you may not like Trump, you may not like his style or his rhetoric, finally, an administration that puts up and says enough. 400% tariffs tomorrow morning. He'll tell you why. Xi can only stay the supreme leader if people are employed. If we wipe out any business there, because we are still 39% of all consumables on Earth and 25% of the world's GDP, America is the #1 economy on Earth with all the cards. We will not have that forever. It's time to squeeze Chinese heads into the wall now.
Well,
I'm
hold
not
on
talking
a
about
second,
tariffs
Kevin.
on
Well,
60
I hear you, but hold on. If we're talking about people, the average consumer, not necessarily the head honchos of businesses all across the globe, can they withstand the pressure of that sort of tax on the goods?
It's short-lived. There will be.
But what's your timeline compared to, you don't know the average American's timeline, what they can actually survive. There's people right now who can't survive
400% tomorrow morning, cheese on an airplane to Washington to cut a deal.
There you go. I mean, it really is that simple. So, yeah, the folks on CNN, they're thinking like this is the end of the world, and it's not the end of the world. And as Kevin O'Leary said, these people have been taking us for a ride for decades, and nobody's done anything about it. And now comes Donald Trump, and he says those days are over. They're over. And by the way, you want to know why blue-collar workers are supporting Donald Trump? You want to know why Donald Trump got the union vote, which is a traditionally Democrat voting bloc? The reason why is because all of those union jobs are the ones that went overseas. So if Donald Trump is successful here, Donald Trump will bring back all of these industries, all of the manufacturing, the car makers, everybody comes back home. And you're going to find these blue-collar workers making a good, solid wage. And what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, is the middle class of America is going to explode. Do you understand that? The middle class under, go back to H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W., Obama, Biden, the middle class has been decimated by these policies. Decimated. And Donald Trump is going back, and what's going to happen is this country, and if you think about this for a moment, go back to the years after World War II, when all of the fighting men came back home. They went to work in the factories. They bought their homes. They got married. They had children. And what was the central component? The family unit was stronger again. Families went to church. And you're starting to see all of these things blossom up again, bloom in this amazing America First culture. There's a report out yesterday for all of you Catholics. And they're saying that a shocking number of young men, just a huge number of young men are going to seminary. They want to become priests, and they're all conservative. They're shocked at the number of young people, these young men who are coming into the priesthood, and they are rock solid conservative in their politics and their theology. So what's happening? We are almost going back in time to the 1950s, an era of America that was just really bathed in traditional family values. A lot of you old timers out there will remember those days where family mattered, where your dad, your grandpa, and your sons, you all worked at the same factory, many of you. You had generations of family members working in factories. These were wonderful days. These were days when people were able to afford to buy a car. They were able to afford to buy a house. They could go on vacations. You didn't have people having to work 3-4 jobs just to make ends meet here. That's what Trump is trying to do. Here's Stephen Moore over at CNN explaining why Trump won the blue-collar vote back in November.
This is the new Republican Party, whether you like it or not. I mean, Trump won because he won blue-collar union voters, and he and the Republicans view that as the base of the party now. And it's different. It's different than when Reagan won, where it was mostly wealthy people. Now the wealthy people vote Democratic, and middle-class people are generally voting Republican. And so this is a policy position that's actually fairly popular with Americans. You're right. I'm a free trader.
Which part, Scott? I'm sorry, Steve. Which part do you think is popular? Because I don't think that's true.
Well, let me just say this. Even though Trump knows I'm a free trade guy, and he knows that I oftentimes oppose these policies, he still calls on me. He likes to get different opinions from different people. And in the end of the day, I'm going to predict this has been a rough period, no question. But Trump is a winner. He's a master negotiator. I think at the end of the day, you're going to have these countries calling him up on the phone one by one and making a deal with them. It's going to be good for
what's going to happen to the U.S.
There you go. That's Steve Moore. So again, folks, let's just chill out. Enjoy your spring. Enjoy summer. You got Easter Sunday coming up. Just chill out and let's see how all of this works out. But I'm telling you, there is something exciting happening in the United States of America. 901-260-5926 is our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. There's an interesting story in NBC News. And that entire party has completely discombobulated. They are in the throes of death. And one of the reasons why is they have abandoned a significant block of voters in this country. That would be the dudes. And I'm not talking about gals who identify as dudes. I'm talking about dudes who are dudes. And the Democrats shoved those people aside. And they said, you don't matter to us anymore. This is why you've got all of these. When you look at the protest, they're predominantly being led by women. When you look at the leadership of the Democrat Party right now, it's people like AOC, Ilhan Omar, and the Fogetto chick, Jasmine Crockett. So these are the people that we're dealing with, that we're talking about here. So NBC News has done a deep dive into all of this, and the headline, "The Plight of Boys and Men, Once Sidelined by Democrats, Now a Priority." So now the Democrats are saying, oh, wait a second, we need the guys after all. I really don't think this is going to work. But you've got governors out there, and the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, first-term governor, says that he wants to find a way to help struggling boys and men. Mr. Moore saying in an interview, quote, "The well-being of our young men and boys has not been a societal priority." Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. "I want Maryland to be the one that is aggressive and unapologetic about being able to address it and being able to fix it." Moore is not the only Democrat vowing to help boys and men. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who staged her own fake kidnapping, shared plans to help boost young men's enrollment in higher education and skill training. Keep in mind, you've had, since Barack Hussein Obama, you've had Democrats saying from their podiums and their platforms on national television, it's been pounded into their brains that you are the problem. You are the problem with what's happening in America. Your manliness is a problem. Your urges as a boy, those are problems. You have to stifle the way you feel. You have to feminize yourself. This has been preached from pulpits and platforms all over America for well over a decade now. And what's happened in the culture has been pretty brilliant because young men are rebelling. And we're seeing this through Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk and the campus protest and these rallies. And these young men are finally stepping up and stepping forward. And this is why they have embraced Donald Trump, because they see Trump as a man's man. They see Donald Trump as a guy who's not afraid to be a guy. And that's one of the reasons you've seen such enthusiasm with people like J.D. Vance, the vice president of these great United States, and Dan Bongino and Pete Hegseth. These are men's men. And they're willing to stand up and say, you know what? It's okay to be a man. It's okay to be able to go out there and want to work and provide for your family. It's okay to be the head of your household. And for many of you people of faith out there, you know this because you learned this. You read the Bible. You understand that there are roles for the male and the female in the family unit. But society has come along and they've blown all of that up. And in the process of blowing all of it up, they also told these young men, no, you need to be more effeminate. You need to be more like a woman. And then they turn around and they tell the women they need to be more like men. The whole country is slap crazy. But again, this is why this moment in time, these next 4 years are so vitally crucial to the future of our country. Because if we're able to get it right here, if President Trump is able to steer us down the right path, and it's not just about the economy, it's about the culture as well. I mean, let's get real for a second. I mean, I'm glad President Trump announced there are only two sexes, male and female, but the fact that the President of the United States had to come out and tell people that there are only two sexes, male and female, we got problems in this country. But if Trump can steer the ship in the right direction and get us going, I think we're going to be okay as a country. I really do. All right, we've got to take a break here. 901-260-5926. Our telephone number, 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
Honest and true. Todd Starnes.
For 10 years now, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And when I say only, trust me, they're the only one. And they have been great supporters of the Todd Starnes radio show. That's why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all three major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've always been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support free speech and religious freedom and the sanctity of life. And by the way, their 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes it easy to switch. You can keep your number, you keep your phone, or you can upgrade because they sell phones too. Go to PatriotMobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's PatriotMobile.com/Todd. You get free activation today with the offer code Todd. That's a $30 value. PatriotMobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT, promo code Todd.
Everyone's goals for advancing their education look different. At Liberty University, we've helped thousands of students like you earn their dream degree. So no matter what your goal is, we can help you get there. With over 450 degrees from the associate to the doctoral level to choose from, most of which are 100% online, you'll find what you need to succeed. To discover which degree might be the best fit for you, text degree to 49595. That's degree to 49595.
Attention Patriots, Old Glory Bank, the bank for Main Street, not Wall Street, is now offering you a chance to own a piece of America's freedom economy. President and CEO Mike Ring recently testified before the Senate Banking Committee to fight for your banking freedom. Now you can join the fight by investing in Old Glory Bank. Visit own.oldglorybank.com to become an owner today. Investments involve risk, are not FDIC insured, and are not guaranteed. See our offering circular.
The story of MyPillow is a testament to faith and transformation. Mike Lindell, once battling addiction, found a new path when he embraced faith and began following Jesus. In gratitude, Mike is excited to share an exclusive offer with our listeners. Right now, the standard MyPillow is available for just $14.88, a savings that's too good to pass up. There's a limit of 10 per customer, so don't wait to take advantage of this amazing deal now with promo code STARNS. Mike believes God gave him the idea for MyPillow in a dream, and it's designed with your comfort in mind. The pillow holds its shape and adapts perfectly to your unique sleep position, helping keep your neck aligned for the best night's sleep. And there's more. Take home a 4-piece kitchen set for only $25. Enjoy the new mattress topper at $99.99 or pick up the luxurious MyPillow bed sheet starting at $49.98. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS to unlock huge discounts. Don't miss out. Order today.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All right, one of our Liberty University student workers, Annabelle, sent me a very interesting story. This from thehill.com. Sarah Fortensky is the author. Air Force pulling back ban on personal pronouns in emails. The U.S. Air Force reversing its ban on including preferred pronouns in email signatures and other personal professional communications. In a press release published April 3rd, the Air Force said it had rescinded an earlier directive to cease the use of preferred pronouns to identify one's gender. Airmen and civilian employees may now include their preferred pronouns in email signature blocks, memoranda, letters, papers, social media, etc., etc. The original ban, announced on February 4 in guidance on President Trump's executive order defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Military.com reports the ban reversal came after the Air Force learned that a provision of the National Defense Authorization Act, signed into law in 2023, said the Defense Secretary may not require or prohibit a member of the armed forces or a civilian employee of the DoD to identify the gender or personal pronouns of such member. In other words, they pulled a fast one on us, ladies and gentlemen. This little nugget buried within the National Defense Authorization Act, that the NDAA, by the way, is what funds the U.S. military. So there you go. This is why you've got to read every single sentence, every single word of this legislation, because they're always playing loosey-goosey with stuff, and that's what's happened here. All right, Jasmine Crockett is back in the headlines. Jasmine Crockett, cut number 14.
We all should want to be safe in our communities. The problem that we have is that we have an incompetent administration, that everything that they touch turns to shit, because what they do is they take a wide sweeping brush and they have decided that the enemy is now going to be immigrants instead of taking a scalpel. That's all we're asking, is to be exact in what you're doing instead of taking a sledgehammer to everything. Thank you.
Is that true, though? Have the Republicans turned everything to poop? Seriously? Is that what she's saying here? Because I'd like to see the evidence of that. On the contrary, it looks like President Trump is rebuilding everything the Democrat Party broke. Oh, by the way, Sunny Hostin over on The View weighing in on all of this, talking about the required voter IDs which is going to be necessary if we want to secure our elections. Cut number 4.
People don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses. So it's sort of a vestige of, I think, post-slavery laws where Black people had to prove their right to vote. And oftentimes they couldn't vote because they couldn't pass some crazy test or they didn't have the appropriate ID. It also affects women that are married. Maybe your passport reflects something that's different on your birth certificate or on your driver's license. So really the bottom line is voter suppression. And I agree with him 100%. It's a brilliant notion that less voter ID laws allows more people to vote. And most democracies do it that way. We're the only ones that really don't do it that way.
Right. I mean,
that's not true. I want you to introduce me to one Black person in America who has not been able to get an ID. Introduce me to that person. I want to meet that person. That's a load of hooey, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the phones. 901-260-5926. Anna in Georgia. Hi, Anna. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Todd, this morning I was listening to a local radio station. Oh, actually, it goes all over the United States. And he said that with all the people concerned about the $32 trillion that we owe in debt, that the actual truth is that the Senate is going to be approving an increase of $50 trillion. And it really did pique my interest, and I thought, what? And the host suggested that maybe the president's advisors are not really telling him this. And I'm reeling. I'm wondering, what is this true? Do you know about this?
I haven't heard the $50 trillion, but I know what they're talking about, and I'll address this after the top of the hour break, Anna. But it is troubling because what the Senate is going to do is literally undo all of the work and the efforts of DOGE and then add even more debt to the federal government. So, Anna, I'll talk more about that coming up in the next hour. Thank you for calling in. And, folks, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Todd Starnes, and there's no better time to get in shape than right now. That's why I'm really excited that Calitrin is part of my weight loss campaign. Here's my friend Elizabeth from Calitrin.
I know spring is already here, and really, how long have you been trying to lose weight? A month, a year? Well, Calitrin's been helping customers lose weight, sleep better, and look better for almost 30 years. So the big question is, what are you waiting for? It only takes a quick visit to our website or a phone call to get started. The product itself has been proven safe and effective, even with medications. It's good for you. It's not going to interfere with any of those. It's going to help tone and tighten. So go to our website today, toploss.com, to save big. That's TOPLOSS.com, or call us 833-TOP-LOSS.
Thanks, Elizabeth, and be sure to use that promo code TODD.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. Stand by for news and commentary next.
Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month.
And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. So maybe you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're much happier with. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Remember when Hollywood turned Superman woke? They rewrote his beloved slogan, Truth, Justice, and the American Way. The modern Superman stands for truth, justice, and all that other stuff. Then they turned Wonder Woman gay, Spider-Man 2, the boy wonder, Robin, now bisexual. And now comes word the actor who plays the new Captain America actually hates America. Anthony Mackie telling a reporter that Captain America represents a lot of different things, but America is not one of them. His comments came while he was promoting Disney's new movie, Captain America, Brave New World. The irony is America is exactly what Captain America is all about. It's the only thing Captain America is all about. The creators of the comic book meant to portray Steve Rogers as the epitome of American exceptionalism. Only Hollywood could turn Captain America into Captain Un-American. I'm Todd Starnes.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute.
From the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's common sense conservative commentary from Todd Starnes.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
All right, I wanted to go back and address something that happened in the last hour of the program. Anna called in from Georgia, and she was very concerned about some reports she heard about the Senate plan to cut taxes, which really doesn't actually do that. And I want to explain why that is. So the real size of the tax cut in the Senate outline is about $5.3 trillion over a decade, but they want to take that down to $4 billion, all right? So this is the big difference. So the House wants to have $1 trillion in cuts, the Senate only $4 billion. But when you add on the additional spending on defense, the Senate resolution could add about $5.7 trillion to the debt over the next 10 years. And that's the concern here. And that's why Republicans in the House are fighting mad over this. They say we've got to have deep spending cuts. Otherwise, all of the efforts are for nothing, including DOGE. So I hope that's helpful to you, Anna, but we've got to hold our elected leaders accountable, and they have got to rein in the spending. They just have to do it. Welcome, everybody, to the Todd Starnes radio program. Hour 2 underway. President Trump is fired up. I want you to hear what he told senators yesterday, cut number 8.
And it's the biggest transaction ever made. This is bigger than any deal. You guys, some of you work for companies. Your companies are peanuts. I don't care how big they are. This is the largest transaction in the history of our country. And don't let some of these politicians go around saying, because I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir. And then I'll see some rebel Republican, some guy that wants to grandstand, say, I think that Congress should take over negotiations. Let me tell you, you don't negotiate like I negotiate. Congress takes over negotiating. Sell America fast because you're going to go busted. You don't. I just saw it today. A couple of your congressmen said, I think we should get involved in the negotiation of the tariffs. Oh, that's what I need. I need some guy telling me how to negotiate. I tell you, the happiest people.
All right, there you go. President Trump yesterday. I want to go to our Old Glory Bank newsmaker line. Our good friend Jeff Katz from radio station WRVA, our affiliate in Richmond, Virginia, joins us. Hey, Jeff, how's it going today?
It's going well, and the president was in rare form, putting a smile on most of our faces, for sure.
Yeah, isn't it fascinating? This guy, we haven't seen a politician like this. He has a plan, he's not deviating, and he really doesn't care what people think.
It's really refreshing, and you're right, I don't think we've ever seen anybody like this before. Just somebody who has said, hey, we're thinking long-term, and I understand you may not like this, you may not like that, but let me remind you, you were not elected president with an overwhelming mandate. I was. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work, kids.
I'm curious, Jeff, what your listeners are telling you about the tariffs. Are they worried? Are they trusting the president here?
I think there's a healthy concern. Some people who don't necessarily understand tariffs, they're hearing about tariff. What they're not hearing about is that first word, reciprocal, right? People who are thinking, oh, my gosh, this is going to cost more, and why are we doing this? And say, well, because we're looking out for American companies. We're looking out for American producers, and we're simply saying to these other nations, you're going to do that to us, we're going to do that to you. And as the president points out, there's so many of these world leaders that have reached out. We've heard from, Vietnam was just about the first up to the plate. Israel was up to the plate and said, yeah, let's make it so that we get rid of all the tariffs on your goods, you get rid of ours, and we'll be good to move forward. So I think for any one of us who's ever read The Art of the Deal, this is Donald John Trump at his finest saying, we're going to make a deal. You may not like it at the moment, but we're going to make it, and it is going to work very well for America. And what's so important to me, Todd, and what I love about the president is this is not about 30 seconds from now or 30 minutes or 30 days. It's about 30 years down the road. It's about having manufacturing back in the United States. This is a long-term play.
Well, it is, and unfortunately, in this country, there is a sense of immediacy. We have to have instant gratification. That is something that's somewhat new to the country, but this is going to take some time. And the question is, will people be patient enough to wait this out?
Well, that's a great question. I wish I knew the answer to that. Obviously, we are a nation that seems to thrive on immediate gratification, and we have a lot of folks in Congress, right? They're up for election all the time and re-election all the time. They're always raising money. So I think they are fearful about their own political futures. But it's a matter of education. It's guys like you who are explaining to people exactly what's involved and why this is happening and how it should happen that I think are really helping move the ball downfield.
There's a lot of blame to go around. Let's take, the automobile industry, for example. And yeah, a lot of those automakers went overseas. I get that. One of the reasons why they did that is because the unions were out of control and they were demanding wages and other benefits that would have made it impossible for the average American to purchase an American-made car.
You're spot on. And I think one of the things that's come out of this, take a look at Stellantis over the last couple of weeks. When did you ever think you would hear the president of Stellantis and the president of the United Auto Workers on exactly the same page, both in favor of a proposal put forward by a conservative Republican president? The leader of the UAW said, hey, these tariffs are great because they can come back to the plants that they shuttered and they can retool, but they'll be up in a matter of weeks or months. They're not building these brick and mortar from the ground up. And what did the president of Stellantis do almost immediately? He said, we've looked at the tariffs, and frankly, they're a pain in our rear end. I think, you just played it. The president had a slightly different characterization, but they're a pain in our rear end. And so you know what? We're bringing manufacturing back from Canada and Mexico. We have shuttered plants in the United States. And I would like to think, now, I don't know, maybe I'm being Pollyanna here, but I'd like to think that the auto workers who have been out of work for a while maybe have a better sense that, geez, it's better to be employed at $30 an hour than be formerly employed at $50 an hour.
It's interesting when you look at the party, and there is a lot of infighting right now, and you've got at least 7 Republicans in the Senate that want to stop Trump on the tariffs. You've got a growing rebellion happening in the House. And, Jeff, I'm wondering if a lot of this is simply because the Republican Party right now is really not the Republican Party. I mean, you've got a lot of union workers, working class folks, folks who normally vote Democrat as a part of this, Trump big tent.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct. I don't know that that's necessarily bad as we move down the line. I have grown rather tired of the country club Republicans who I think should just be courageous and declare themselves to be Democrats and make way. But Donald Trump has reached out and he's brought working class people back into this party. We haven't seen this really since the Reagan Democrats. And this is about raising all boats, right? It's that rising tide, it will lift all boats. So I think there is definitely infighting, as you point out. There are people who liked it the old way. You've got guys like Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's core belief is that he just wants to look out for Mitch McConnell. It's always been that way. And for President Trump, he's got a real plan, a real vision long term, and it is great for America. And we do need some of these folks who have been at the party for so long, running the party into the ground to, quite frankly, get the heck out of the party already.
I'm curious. I know you guys there in the Commonwealth have an election coming up. How are things looking for the GOP there?
Well, it's always an interesting thing here in Virginia, Todd. The off-year elections, generally speaking, go against the sitting president. So in theory, it would be a Democrat victory this time for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general. Our governor can only serve one term, and then they're out. They can't repeat. So we have a former Congresswoman, Abigail Spanberger, who cut her teeth at the CIA. She's the person who had the closest voting record to Nancy Pelosi when she was in the House. And she is the Democrat Party nominee. We have our Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Earl-Sears, a Marine, who is our current Lieutenant Governor. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to really, really be a tough one. Spanberger has millions and millions of dollars, but they're coming in from New York, the dollars from New York and California. And so it's a very attractive post to be governor of Virginia, especially on that national stage. So it's going to be a tough one. We have contested primaries in both the Democrat and Republican side for lieutenant governor, and that will be interesting. If the Republicans have the ticket that it looks like they're going to have right now, it would be a black woman running as the Republican for governor, a gay man with a black partner running for lieutenant governor, and a Latino gentleman, first-generation American, running for re-election as attorney general. So whether we like the term or not, it would be the most diverse ticket in the history of Virginia, and Democrats are running against all of that, despite their hue and cry for DEI.
I love how the Democrats chose a white woman to be the savior for blacks in Virginia when you've got a black Republican running in the same race. I don't get that.
Yeah, it is a rather interesting situation. How's that for a polite description?
Wow. All right. Well, Jeffrey Katz, always good hearing from you, my friend.
It is always my pleasure, Todd. Keep at it, man.
Will do. The great Jeff Katz, everybody, host of his own show there on WRVA in Richmond, Virginia, our terrific affiliate there in the Commonwealth. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. You know, I love something that Stephen Miller wrote. Stephen is the Deputy Chief of Staff over at the White House. He says, the elites lied to you about immigration. They lied to you about trade. They lied to you about Iraq. They lied to you about China. They lied to you about COVID, and they are still lying to you. And when he's talking about the elites, he's talking about the Democrats. He's talking about their handlers in the mainstream media. He's talking about the establishment Republicans, the ones who are openly rebelling now against President Trump on tariffs. And the reality is that they did lie to us about every single one of these things. All right, got to take a break. We'll be right back.
The most trusted source for conservative news. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
It is going phenomenal. Being 50 years old, and that's why we do 3 and 3, because my wife takes the same amount as I do. To be honest, I've gotten actually about 4 other people started on this. You know, I've told them about it, and they've tried it, and they're sticking with it as well.
My name is Mike. I just wanted to call and praise you guys. I've been taking Balance of Nature for years, and I'm a Korean vet. I'm 93, a retired state trooper, and I play golf with my 3 grandsons. And I tell you what, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate Balance of Nature. That's all.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
The story of MyPillow is a testament to faith and transformation. Mike Lindell, once battling addiction, found a new path when he embraced faith and began following Jesus. In gratitude, Mike is excited to share an exclusive offer with our listeners. Right now, the standard MyPillow is available for just $14.88, a savings that's too good to pass up. There's a limit of 10 per customer, so don't wait to take advantage of this amazing deal now with promo code STARNS. Mike believes God gave him the idea for MyPillow in a dream, and it's designed with your comfort in mind. The pillow holds its shape and adapts perfectly to your unique sleep position, helping keep your neck aligned for the best night's sleep. And there's more. Take home a 4-piece kitchen set for only $25. Enjoy the new mattress topper at $99.99 or pick up the luxurious MyPillow bedsheet starting at $49.98. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS to unlock huge discounts. Don't miss out. Order today. We are living in dangerous and unstable times. Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Stearns. Pandemics, international insecurity, shortages, supply chain disruptions, and an economy on the brink. We know we can't simply trust the government to protect us. Now more than ever, everyone needs to be prepared. And being prepared is more than just stockpiling ammo, food, and supplies. Being prepared should also include stockpiling critical prescription medications. And that's where my friends at the Wellness Company come in. Their medical emergency kit contains the prescriptions, antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics that you need to keep you and your family safe, from anthrax to tick bites to COVID and even to a bioweapon like the plague. The Wellness Company's medical emergency kit is exactly what you need to have on hand to be prepared. Go to twc.health/STARNS today and order. That's twc.health/STARNS. Use the promo code STARNS and you're going to save an extra 10%.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Get hurt in the game? We tough it out. Feel exhausted? We push on. Feeling down? We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But there are times when bootstraps aren't enough. When stress gets to us and we need to talk to someone about what we're really going through. So we're going to reach out, because sometimes mental health is not a one-person job. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Well, there's trouble in Dollywood. This is not good. Dolly Parton is facing a bit of controversy. Well, not Dolly Parton. Her hometown is Sevierville, Tennessee. That's, of course, home to Dollywood, and they got Pigeon Forge, the whole that whole area of the eastern Tennessee. So anyway, they have a Camping World outlet there. Marcos Lemonis, he's been on the show many times before. And if you know anything about Camping World, they are very patriotic. Lemonis is actually an immigrant. He came to the country legally from Lebanon, became an American citizen, and he loves America. I'm not sure that he is super conservative, but he's a patriot, and he loves America. So when he bought Camping World, he made sure, he mandated that every single outlet, every Camping World outlet franchise had a massive American flag flying outside. If you've driven by a Camping World, you know what I'm talking about. These are ginormous flags. So anyway, he is now facing a lot of controversy, believe it or not, in a couple of southern cities, one of them being in North Carolina and the other being in Sevierville, Tennessee, which is Dolly Parton's hometown. And anyway, he is now vowing that the flags are not coming down. So city leaders want the flags in both of those cities to come down, and they're not coming down. He says they're not going to come down. He says the flag is not coming down. This is the third city in the last several years that tried to sue us to take down the flag, threatening jail, a variety of fines. He says, no, we're done. Now, they've got over 200 locations, and they have been facing a number of lawsuits. Greenville, North Carolina, one of them, and they actually voted to take legal action against Camping World there. And then, of course, Sevierville, Tennessee, filed a lawsuit against Marcus Lemonis as well. Mr. Lemonis says we've had these flags up for 20 years. So it's surprising to me in states like North Carolina and Tennessee that I'm having to deal with this. By the way, the flags are about the size of a basketball court. They're big flags. The officials in Sevierville, a reading from Fox Business, officials from Sevierville, Tennessee, argue that it is the height of the pole and not the size of the flag. The city writing, let us be clear, the city of Sevierville is not and never will be against patriotism. But that's exactly what they are. That's exactly what this is. The city of Greenville, North Carolina said this has never been about removing an American flag, but we're telling them to remove the American flag. Of course they are. This is the problem, ladies and gentlemen, with government. And if I were the good people of Sevierville, Tennessee and Greenville, North Carolina, I would be voting in the next elections to make sure those people who hate the American flag are never in office again. But that's just me. 901-260-5926. Where do you stand here, folks? Do you have a problem that these and it's not just Camping World. You have a lot of these car dealerships as well, and they have these big American flags. And every single time you've got city leaders coming out and saying, that flag is just too big. It has to come down. It's too grotesque. All of that red and that white and that blue and the stars, it's very triggering. And you see, that's it. I think that you got a lot of closet liberals hanging out on the city council in Sevierville, Tennessee, and Greenville, North Carolina. And I would understand if this was happening in, say, Berkeley, California, or even Asheville, North Carolina. Lord knows they've got some liberal loons. But, again, small town North Carolina, small town East Tennessee, come on, man. We're going to have the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, Glenn Jacobs, is going to be with us in studio. He's driving through Memphis, and we're going to have him on I'm going to ask him about this. This is insanity that something like this could happen. But you got to love it. Marcus Lemonis, a great American citizen. This is his adopted country, and he loves America clearly more than the city council in Sevierville, Tennessee. Unbelievable. 901-260-5926, our number. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
We're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It'd be great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the Todd Starnes radio show. Want to share this information with you. We have some breaking news. President Trump is announcing a 90-day pause on tariffs for all countries. So it looks like the president raising the flag here. President Trump announcing a 90-day pause on tariffs for all countries except China. and he will increase tariffs on China to 125%. The stock market is blowing up right now. So, wow, any of you who purchased stock over the past couple of days, good for you. The president says, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world markets, I am hereby raising the tariff to 125% effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the U.S., including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed, and he goes on, blah, blah, blah. He says that he is authorizing a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. The president says, thank you all for your attention to this matter. Well, I want to go to our Old Glory Bank newsmaker line, say hello to our good friend from the great state of Missouri, Congressman Eric Burleson. Congressman, hope you're doing well today.
Doing well, Todd. Good afternoon.
And Congressman, your reaction here to this breaking news of President Trump putting a pause on the tariffs, and he's cracking down on China.
Yeah, I think China is our number one adversary. I think this is I was thinking about this morning about how, to me, that Trump and his dealing with China is reminiscent of the way Reagan dealt with Russia. Reagan realized that they could bankrupt Russia by continuing to spend in the military and forcing Russia to match that, and it was successful. I think Trump understands how much of an impact this is going to have on China. And look, that a financial calamity that occurs may cause complete unrest in China.
I think you're right, and I think it's a fair comparison over what Reagan did to the old Soviet Union and what Trump is doing now to China, and really making the economic wall fall down. I thought it was fascinating to hear, Kevin O'Leary over on CNN talking about how China has really screwed over Americans for decades, and nobody has ever dared do anything about it except for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget. So my father-in-law was a bee farmer, or for honeybees, and I learned a lot about that, just and the way in which China floods the market with not even real honey; it's like fake product, and they do that consistently. We just had a hearing today about how the FDA isn't keeping up with approving generic drugs, and so China's flooding our market with illegal products, and they're flooding the market when it comes to vaping products, all these chemicals that are poisoning our children. And so it's good to see a president that's finally stepping up and going to do something about it.
Congressman Burleson on our Old Glory Bank newsmaker line. Of course, the breaking news, President Trump announcing a 90-day pause on all tariffs except for China, which their tariffs have been increased to 125%. Congressman, as all of this is going down, there's been a lot of pushback from Republicans in the Senate. Now, of course, there is a major debate brewing over the Senate's plan when it comes to the budget and the cuts. You've got the chair of the Freedom Caucus defying the president on the budget. Where do things stand right now?
Yeah, and I'm with Andy Harris. I can't, in good conscience, vote for something that would add more increase the deficits and accelerate our debt problem. I ran on trying to get to a balanced budget. I ran on cutting the deficits and getting the debt, under control. And I think the Senate absolutely insulted Trump's agenda, and I think they're ready to. I mean, the fact that they put in a $4 billion cut over 10 years, which, I mean, just put that in perspective. Like, that is, you're talking $400 million over each year. I mean, it's a pathetic, absolutely pathetic, an insult and a middle finger to anyone who's looking to make any cuts. And there's a reason why they put such a low number in. It's history is prologue, right? Like past is prologue. The Senate did this before, and whenever the House tried to make cuts, the Senate balks on it, and then we end up having to take the Senate's position. So this is going to, I think that this is, setting us up to get totally jammed and screwed by the Senate and the moderates in the Senate, and we will end up exacerbating our deficits and accelerating our debt problem.
Congressman, I just don't get it. It was very clear what the American people wanted last November, and President Trump's been very clear about he wants to do. Why in the world would any Republican stand up and fight the president on this? And, this is insulting to the American people, what the Senate has sent back to you guys.
It is insulting, and I hope and I think Trump, I hope he recognizes that, and I hope that I think that he's a smart guy. He's got a smart team. I can't in good conscience, without something in paper, something that commits the Senate to matching us on our spending cuts. Until we get to that point, I can't support it.
Have you guys gotten any explanation at all from the Senate Republicans on what they were trying to do here?
Yeah, they have. They claim that they need to have a wide door here, that they don't want to limit themselves. So they by putting the floor at such a low level, it gives them discretion. But that they say, but aspirationally, and originally they said aspirationally, we want to get not only to the $2 trillion that the House has suggested, but go further than that. Well, now that things are getting real, and it's actually we're playing with live rounds, the Senate is already backed off of that, and now soon is saying, well, maybe we might get to $1 trillion, right? And so this is quickly going to erode to the point in which we get no spending cuts whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what I'm afraid of, because it's the same old, and the American people aren't going to stand for that anymore.
And Todd, cutting spending solves so many problems, and it checks so many boxes on Trump's agenda. When you cut spending, you bring inflation down, okay? Because basically every dollar that we're spending in deficit spending is inflationary spending. We're the ones driving up all the costs of everything that the American people are suffering from. When you stop taking out debt and you cut spending, guess what? The bond market gets better, and interest rates on loans go down. So the American people who are waiting to refinance their mortgage at a lower rate or want to go buy a home, guess what? The one thing that we need to do that will solve both of those problems and cut the debt and the deficit is cut spending. And those are all things that Trump campaigned on, and it's got to be a key part of this reconciliation package. Otherwise, it will never happen. This is the only chance that we've had in decades, and probably will be the only chance we'll have for many decades to come to actually cut spending in this country.
And Congressman, the votes, I've heard upwards of maybe as many as 40 Republican lawmakers in the House opposed to this. What numbers are you hearing? And do you think that the Senate will have the votes in the House?
My guess is it's somewhere around 20. It could be, five north of that, 5 shy of that. It may be up to 30.
So what happens?
Quite a few. Yeah.
So what happens if this fails? What happens then?
I think that what we've got to do is go to conference. In the Missouri legislature, I looked this up in the rules. When you're in this kind of bind and you don't trust the other side of the building, in our case, we don't trust the Senate, you can go to conference and you can put strict instructions to the conferees on what has to come out of that conference committee. And so what we could do is send it to conference and put strict instructions that the conference committee cannot yield on the House's position on $1.5 trillion in minimum mandatory spending cuts, and 2 to 2.5 trillion unlocks the increased tax cut. So by putting that in and forcing them to include that in the resolution, I think that's the path forward.
All right. Well, Congressman, we're going to have to leave it there. We will be watching and seeing how all of this plays out. We certainly appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, Congressman Eric Burleson on our Old Glory Bank Newsmaker line. And again, shenanigans. We should not be surprised. It's just shenanigans. But the reality is that if the Senate Republicans had their way, there really will not be any spending cuts at all. And so DOGE and all of that will have been for nothing. And that's the big concern here. All right, 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. If you haven't been watching what's been happening on Wall Street, it's pretty spectacular when it comes to Newsmax. Now a news giant listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Over 40 million Americans now tune in to Newsmax for the news they need to know. They're tuning into the Newsmax channel on all major systems. They also watch Newsmax 2 on all streaming platforms. That's where my show is. They go online to Newsmax.com for breaking headlines. Millions more have downloaded the free Newsmax app on their smartphone and home TV. Reuters saying Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. Tens of millions of Americans like you have made the switch to Newsmax for news they can trust. So make the switch today. You won't ever look back.
You're listening to Todd Starnes. America has a new choice for fair and balanced news. ToddStarnes.com. Journalism you can trust from some of the best reporters and opinion writers in the business. ToddStarnes.com takes you to the front lines of the culture war, defending faith, freedom, and your family. ToddStarnes.com also features exclusive interviews with America's top newsmakers like Mike Huckabee, Franklin Graham, and Newt Gingrich. Find out why millions of Americans read ToddStarnes.com every day. It's news you can trust. ToddStarnes.com.
When you're working to protect and serve your community and country, you need a degree program that fits into your busy schedule. At Liberty University, you'll find just that. With 100% online program options and no set login times, you can advance your skills without sacrificing your commitments. Plus, we offer exclusive tuition rates and discounts to current and former service members, their spouses, and first responders. Learn more by texting DEGREE to 49595. That's DEGREE to 49595.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. America is in a funk, and that's why I wrote our daily biscuit, Devotions with a Drawl. It's a collection of inspirational and encouraging and hilarious stories about exceptional Americans who are doing good deeds, stories about faith and family, God and country. I do have hope for America because my hope is not based on a political party. My hope is built on a much higher power. Our daily biscuit, it's a buttermilk biscuit for the soul.
Attention, Patriots. Old Glory Bank, the bank for Main Street, not Wall Street, is now offering you a chance to own a piece of America's freedom economy. President and CEO Mike Ring recently testified before the Senate Banking Committee to fight for your banking freedom. Now you can join the fight by investing in Old Glory Bank. Visit own.oldglorybank.com to become an owner today. Investments involve risk, are not FDIC insured, and are not guaranteed. See our offering circular.
Many college grads are anti-capitalist activists, so if you're a business owner, how do you find new employees who won't destroy your business? Hi, this is Todd Starnes, and that's where Red Balloon comes in. They're America's #1 pro-freedom job board, and they're shaking up the hiring world by focusing on values and mission-aligned talent. Now, there are two ways Red Balloon can help. You can post your job on their national job board. Over 20,000 people visit every week. Or you can hire Red Balloon Recruiter for a more customized talent search. Now, the recruiter team is really fantastic. They start by learning your workplace culture and writing a custom job posting, and then they source and screen candidates from their national database. Their team conducts first interviews, and you get alerts when they find highly qualified candidates. And Red Balloon delivers these high-quality results at a fraction of traditional corporate recruiter prices. People are saying Red Balloon is a game changer. So check them out today, redballoon.work. Use the promo code STARNS and save $100 on Recruiter.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Well, this is an odd story from the New York Post. Apparently, more people are choosing to have pets over children. The New York Post reporting that a new study revealed a link between dog ownership and declining birth rates. So the idea here, the thought process is that if given the choice, young couples would rather have a dog than have a baby. Parenting is no walk in the park, which might be why some are opting out and choosing the walk in the park with a dog. It just seems to me, aside from the feeding and the watering, which you have to do both, I mean, at least at some point, the child is going to be potty trained, and you're not going to have to get up in the middle of the night to take your child outside to do his business. I'm shocked by this study. Some studies suggest that dog owners indeed have more negative views of motherhood, and mothers who own dogs find parenting more burdensome, which could reduce their willingness to have more children. Are you buying this, ladies and gentlemen? According to the study, dog ownership in the United States has increased by 37 million since 1996, which well surpasses the number of children being born. And it's not just in the United States, also in Australia. The most common furry household friend is the dog. So they're talking about pets in general, 48%, with families loving them so much they're spending, get this, more than $2,000 a year on average per dog in the household. That's a lot of money. According to the Post, we are obsessed. We are so obsessed, we are preferring a wagging tail over what they call a nappied bun. I'm unfamiliar with that term. They say it's a decline in societal support and the disappearing village that is truly influencing people about parenthood. The changing role of dog ownership suggests that people in Western societies experience a significant lack of caregiving and social support within their families, and they try to compensate this, at least in part, with dogs and likely cats as well. I am not a cat person. I don't like the cats. They're always sort of shifty-eyed. You never know where you stand with the cat. One minute they're purring and rubbing at your feet, and the next thing you know, they're trying to eat your neck, going after the carotid artery. I don't like cats. But the dogs, I like dogs. But I'm curious, are there people like this in your circle, ladies and gentlemen, that would rather have a dog than have a child? Very interesting. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. From the state of Georgia, an interesting arrest was made. A suspect arrested for stealing $20,000 from a Walmart. It happened across North Georgia. They're calling it a loony coincidence. The suspect, accused of placing pricey items into a cheap container at the self-checkout, but only scanning the inexpensive large items without scanning the smaller items hidden inside. Oh, this guy thought he was clever. Nicotine gum, diabetic strips, high-priced items. Among the many items, they said it was like he just went through the store with a trash can. But it turns out they were able to nab the guy. Shockingly, his name, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Speedy Gonzalez. But Speedy wasn't fast enough to outrun the long arm of the law. Captured in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Speedy Gonzalez. By the way, yesterday on my Newsmax show, speaking of Looney Tunes, I was telling the story and giving an example of Trump being the road runner and these Democrats and these activist judges being Wile E. Coyote. And every time they think they've got the road runner, a giant Acme anvil falls on their heads or the stick of Acme dynamite blows up in their face. It's true. It's really true. It's not the first time that Speedy Gonzalez has had a run-in with police. In 2020, he was arrested for stealing checks from a mailbox, and he tried to buy $3,000 worth of items with that money at a local Home Depot. In that instance, it did take several months for the law enforcement officers to catch up with him. So in that instance, I guess he was, in fact, Speedy Gonzalez. Folks, just a reminder, head over to your favorite book place, wherever that might be, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and you can pre-order a copy online right now of my brand new book. It's called Star Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots. A lot of folks are excited about this book, and I can't wait for you to be one of the first people in America to read it. And you're going to be able to do that because if you order early, you will be getting your books early. So it's a great motivation to get your books ordered now. It is about the same size of our Daily Biscuit, Devotions with a Draw. It's a lovely book, beautifully well done. The cover art is just incredible, and you're going to love it. So get yourself a copy of Star Spangled Blessings, pre-order right now. Hang tight, folks. We've got the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, the former professional wrestler known as Kane, Glenn Jacobs, joining us. We'll be right back. For 10 years now, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And when I say only, trust me, they're the only one. And they have been great supporters of the Todd Stearns Radio Show. That's why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all three major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've always been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support free speech and religious freedom and the sanctity of life. And by the way, their 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes it easy to switch. You can keep your number, you keep your phone, or you can upgrade because they sell phones too. Go to PatriotMobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's PatriotMobile.com/Todd. You get free activation today with the offer code Todd. That's a $30 value. PatriotMobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT, promo code Todd.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Stearns. Stand by for news and commentary next.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute, does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GPS for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code GPS for a $5 bonus.
The Edison Township Council in New Jersey has banned citizens from having American flags, copies of the U.S. Constitution, or other props at meetings. A citizen who objected to the new rules was told by Council President Nish Patel he was in violation, ordered police to remove the guy from the council chamber. Patel told the Edison Reporter that any props will be considered not conducive to good order, and as the president, he gets to make the call. Now, the good news is the citizens of Edison are fighting back. The Republican chairperson said banning the flag from council meeting goes beyond normal political discourse between parties and would be destructive to their diverse community. She also said it's absurd, and it is absurd. Fortunately, there's a simple remedy for the un-American activities of the town council. Either let citizens wave Old Glory or return every single penny of federal tax money. I'm Todd Stearns.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute.
From the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's conservative blowtorch.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've got to ask our good friends in Houston if they feel safe today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Todd Starnes radio program. Happy to have you with us. So, the mayor of Houston just casually let slip the fact that more than 900 suspected murderers are out on bond in the city of Houston, Texas. Are you kidding me? This is insanity. This information coming on social media, sharing, it looks like this happened during some sort of a hearing or a city council meeting where the mayor, John Whitmire, announced 900 suspected murderers are now walking the streets of Houston. And I have to imagine that people there are a little concerned about what's going on in Houston. But look, this is not just Houston where this is happening. We're seeing these soft-on-crime lawmakers all over America. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it impacts all of us because we have to go to the grocery store, and there's a good chance you're going to get carjacked by one of these people. So my condolences to the good people of Houston. What in the world is going on there? But it is certainly shocking a lot of folks to learn that 900 people are now, and again, the police, they did their job. The police rounded up these people, the detectives, they investigated, and they got them locked up behind bars. And you know who's letting them out? These liberal district attorneys, these George Soros district attorneys, bought and paid for, and they're turning these people loose on the law-abiding, good citizens of Houston. And it's just simply not right. So I'm curious to hear from you folks. And again, elections have consequences. Over in Dallas, that's why you've got the fake ghetto chick, what's her name? Jasmine Crockett. We had Judge Joe Brown, by the way, on my Newsmax show last night. Oh, wow. He was fired up. Judge Joe Brown was all over Jasmine Crockett and called her every name in the book. Unbelievable. But a lot of people very upset with how things are going right now across Texas. By the way, I'm also curious to hear your thoughts on Ken Paxton. Your attorney general has announced that he is going to be running. He's going to primary Senator John Cornyn for the U.S. Senate. And this is really fascinating because John Cornyn has been a rhino for a very long time, and nobody's dared stand up to this guy. But now Ken Paxton's coming along, and Ken Paxton was actually the keynote speaker at Patriot Talk 920's big gala over last weekend. And Paxton is a conservative, and he's announcing that he's going to take on John Cornyn. Says it's definitely time for a change in Texas. He was on a Laura Ingraham show last night, and he also promised to fight for President Trump's agenda and take a sledgehammer to the D.C. establishment. Mr. Cornyn announcing last month, realizing that he's in trouble, he recently rolled out an endorsement from the Union for U.S. Border Patrol agents, suggesting that he's tough on border crossings. By the way, the Cornyn campaign says that Ken Paxton is a fraud. The campaign putting out a statement saying there will be a spirited campaign, and we assure Texans they will have a real choice when this race is over. But I'm going to tell you right here and now, folks, the establishment in Texas, not just the Democrats, but the Republicans as well, tried to destroy Ken Paxton, and it just did not work. Remember, they tried to impeach the guy in 2023, and that was actually initiated by Texas House Republicans, and they got their badonkadonks handed to them. So we'll see how this all plays out, but Ken Paxton wants to be the next U.S. Senator, and he's taking on John Cornyn. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 888-260-5926. There's a fascinating story out of Fox News, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Have you noticed, and this goes just, I'm not talking about in your everyday, but just have you noticed in the course of your life that people who are beautiful people that would be, say, suitable for a fashion magazine, have you noticed that those people are always treated, dare I say, differently than, say, let's see here, classically, people who are not classically beautiful. So you've got like Miss America, and then you have a gal who is not Miss America. Very kind-hearted soul, but she's not a looker. Or if you're a guy and you've got a guy who's got a six-pack and then you've got a guy who's a kegger, have you noticed that society tends to treat the better-looking people better? Has anybody noticed this in their lives? I mean, it's certainly evident in high school and junior high school and in college to some extent, where the beautiful people are always treated better. People are more likely to like beautiful people. People are more likely to go above and beyond, maybe even do a favor for the beautiful people. And I'm curious, Ben Dieter, this has been your experience. I mean, people hand you stuff hand over fist all the time.
They do?
Would you not consider yourself to be a beautiful person? Or is that the beef tallow?
I don't know. So this is what a lot of young people are calling pretty privilege, I think is what you're describing.
Oh, they have a term for it now.
They have a term for it where you actually get privileges. It's like a card, and you can play that card. Like maybe you're getting a job promotion, or maybe you're in an interview process, and you flash the pearly whites. You look like Gavin Newsom. Your resume is going, I'm not saying he's pretty, but that's what some people say. And so that has been studied, actually. I was reading a study the other day where researchers have shown that the more attractive one is, the more job offers they get, and in turn, the more money they're cashing out at the end of the day.
I knew there had to have been some science here, and somebody had to have done a study about this. And the reason I asked this, Dieter, is there's a story in Fox News. It turns out there was a guy, and he was summoned to court. There was some sort of a trial. I think it was an employment dispute. And for whatever reason, the guy was not able to show up in court. So instead, he used an artificial intelligence-generated avatar. And it was a pretty good-looking avatar. But it was not the guy. But it was the guy's voice, right? It just wasn't him. It was a good-looking avatar, kind of a stunt double, I guess.
Did he look remotely close to his doppelganger?
Not at all. No. Not at all. The screen powered on displayed a handsome young man wearing a button-down shirt, seemingly sitting in a home office. And so finally, one of the attorneys interrupts and says, "Wait a second. Is that really the person?" And it turned out not to be. It was not a real person. According to Fox News, the fallout was immediate as the judge clearly expressed her disapproval over the choice to present an AI-generated video. The judge says it would have been nice to know that when you made your application, you did not tell me that, sir. And so now the guy had to apologize, saying he didn't mean any harm. But I wonder if he, and again, I don't know what the original, I don't know what the plaintiff or the defendant here, I don't know what that person looks like. But could it have been that he was not exactly a classically beautiful person, and he was using a hot avatar to maybe sway opinion?
Well, it's interesting that you bring this up because there's a girl, I believe she goes to the University of Georgia. Someone can check me on this. And she was picked up recently for speeding. And her mugshot was, I'm going to be honest, she was a 10. She was a bombshell. Barbie, Fox News, like blonde hair, blue eyes, tan skin. But what was so ugly was her transaction. I mean, her crime. She was speeding through this town. They picked her up going like 30 miles over the speed limit. They take her in, they process her. Her parents bail her out of jail because she was in a sorority and it was a bad look for her, and who knew who was going to hire her after college. So they allow her out of jail. Her mugshot is posted online, Todd. They're making T-shirts out of this girl's mugshot because she is very physically attractive. So turns out, not only 3 days later, she's picked up once again. She did not learn her lesson. Got a mugshot times 2. And now this woman is a celebrity. And every guy in this country, every red-blooded American male is lining up to date this chick because of her mugshot. That is pretty privilege.
She did look good, though.
Did you see the photo?
It was a very attractive mugshot.
Yeah. But talk about not learning your lesson not once but twice to get picked up then a third time. And her charges, I mean, we're talking loitering, prowling, obstructing a law enforcement officers, both misdemeanors. And she's just a sophomore at the University of Georgia.
She did look good, though.
Yeah.
I will say, it was right up there with Donald Trump. You know, Donald Trump took a great mugshot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you can do that, I mean, if, God forbid you're in a situation where you're going to get busted, you got to make sure you have a good mugshot because you know it's going to go viral. Right? So you don't want to be that person with a bad mugshot.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty bad mugshots.
Oh, I see here. I misread this. So the plaintiff actually used an AI-generated lawyer. So the lawyer wasn't a real lawyer.
Oh, that's a totally different. That's wild.
But the lawyer, but again, if you got a good-looking lawyer, you know, who can work his magic with the court, you know, I'm just wondering if the whole point of all of this was to convey, oh, I'm good looking, I'm hot, therefore you're going to like me. I don't know. But, you know, there's going to be more of this. I mean, at what point are we going to get to it where you don't even have to hire an attorney? You can hire an AI-generated attorney.
I wouldn't encourage that.
Wow. The 74-year-old man, and by the way, this AI was not a 75-year-old. I mean, he looked like he had stepped right out of a Hollywood movie. The 74-year-old man had received prior permission from the court to pre-record a video presentation to assist with his argument as he was representing himself in the case. As soon as the video began playing, a smiling young man wearing a blue-collared shirt topped with a beige half-zip sweater appeared on screen, seemingly standing in front of a luxurious but blurred virtual background. "If it may please the court," the fake man said, "I come here today as a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices." And it just did not go his way. The judges were very upset. And the judges figured it out. They're like, wait a second here. This isn't a real person. How do they know that? How did they know it wasn't a real person? That's what I want to know. Anyway, I'm curious, ladies and gentlemen, would you use some sort of an AI? Would you use a doppelganger if it was going to help you make you more beautiful? And I think I already know the answer, because when you look on everybody's social media pages, Ben, I've actually run into some of the people in real life that follow me on social media, and a lot of them don't look anything like their photos. I'm just saying. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
President Trump says Todd Starnes is a fierce defender of freedom, and he says Todd's new book is an absolute must-read. Twilight's Last Gleaming, Can America Be Saved? Available at your favorite bookstore.
As a parent of athletes, you're a coach, a taxi driver, and a cheerleader all in one. From early morning practices to weekend games, you're committed to supporting their dreams. But with all the constant activities, your own well-being often gets benched. Just like you never leave home without their gear, Balance of Nature fruits and veggie supplements are ready to go wherever you go. They're a reliable teammate in your wellness journey, made with 31 whole food ingredients like mango, kale, raspberry, and zucchini, just to name a few, to help you feel like an MVP. So whether you're coaching from the sidelines or cheering in the stands, Balance of Nature supplements are your quick and easy way to stay on top of your game, on and off the field. Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off your first preferred set with free shipping as a new preferred customer by using discount code TODD.
The story of MyPillow is a testament to faith and transformation. Mike Lindell, once battling addiction, found a new path when he embraced faith and began following Jesus. In gratitude, Mike is excited to share an exclusive offer with our listeners. Right now, the standard MyPillow is available for just $14.88, a savings that's too good to pass up. There's a limit of 10 per customer, so don't wait to take advantage of this amazing deal now with promo code STARNS. Mike believes God gave him the idea for MyPillow in a dream, and it's designed with your comfort in mind. The pillow holds its shape and adapts perfectly to your unique sleep position, helping keep your neck aligned for the best night's sleep. And there's more. Take home a 4-piece kitchen set for only $25. Enjoy the new mattress topper at $99.99 or pick up the luxurious MyPillow bed sheet starting at $49.98. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS to unlock huge discounts. Don't miss out. Order today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a 70-year-old man. I'm not a young guy, and I'm an ex-athlete. Well, yeah, when I was taking it, I recognized that I was feeling better. You know what I'm saying? And just mentally knowing is important also.
I am a customer of you guys. I love your product. Love it, love it. Nothing but good things to say about your product. I love it. And as long as y'all are going to sell it, I'm going to take it as long as I can.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Good to have you with us on the Todd Stearns Radio Show, 901-260-5926, our number. So, Jasmine Crockett is back in the headlines. All right. All right, Jasmine Crockett, We had some earlier audio from her. Now, writing in a post on X this morning, calling President Trump a mofo. That term stands for a rather naughty word, mother fornicator. I tried to clean it up for you. Jasmine Crockett says, so I've said this before, this election was the best example of why diversity, equity, and inclusion matter, referring to the 2024 presidential election. She says, for some, they just disqualified her simply due to her race and or her sex. They never listened to what she had to say. They were dismissive and disrespectful while giving the benefit of the doubt to a mofo who literally said he had concepts of a plan and flat out lied about Project 2025. He was and still is unqualified and unfit to lead our country. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The headline, left-wing lawmaker calls Trump a mofo, says some voters disqualified Kamala Harris for her sex and or her race. No, it was because she was a dingbat. That's the reason why. You know, at some point, you do have to wonder, what's going on there in Texas? What's wrong with you people in the Dallas area? Why? Who on earth, even in the Democrat Party, who on earth would think that someone like Jasmine Crockett, a fake ghetto chick, would actually be qualified to be their representative in Congress, in the House of Representatives? At some point, you would think, would you not be embarrassed by all of this? It seems to me, if this woman was my representative, and of course we've got some guy in the Memphis area named Steve Cohen, and that guy is he's like the crypt keeper, this guy. He's an embarrassment. And at some point you have to ask yourself, really, is that who you want representing you in the House of Representatives? Maybe they do. But every single day, this woman's coming out with some sort of a horrible profanity. And by the way, Judge Joe Brown pointed something out that a lot of people don't talk about. Yesterday, he was on my Newsmax show. And he said this woman, Jasmine Crockett, is in her 40s. She's not some sort of a 29-year-old or 30-year-old. She's in her 40s. And now, I mean, when you hear her talk and when you see her behave, you understand why she can't get herself a man. Because nobody wants to deal with that. But this is a woman in her 40s. She is a grown woman behaving like she's stumbling out of some sort of a club at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I just genuinely don't get it. But look, maybe she is representative of the people in her congressional district back in Dallas. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, they connect, they identify with people like Jasmine Crockett. It very well could be the case. All right, got to take a quick break here, folks. 901-260-5926, our number. Again, that's 901-260-5926. Hey, head over to our website, toddsterns.com. We have some great information for you there. Our podcast, free of charge. You can download it. Our newsletter, you can get that as well. We'll be right back, everybody.
Mama, what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
And wolf?
Oh, a wolf. Ooh!
What about the tiny dog? Cat? Owl? Dolphin? What does the turkey say? Whale?
Whale sound.
Do the giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Okay. Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/
the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Good to have you with us. Let's go to the phone lines here, 901-260-5926. Shannon in Cordova, Tennessee, listening to us on KWAM, wants to weigh in on Jasmine Crockett. Hi, Shannon. What's on your mind?
Hey, I was going to let you know I was born and raised in Dallas, and the area that's Oak Cliff. And so if you take Orange Mound and Fraser and combine it with a couple other areas, Watkins, Hollywood, that's the area that she represents.
So you're telling me that the constituents that she represents would identify with someone who calls the President of the United States a mofo?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like, Judge Joe Brown, he had a great illustration. He made a great point yesterday. She went to very wealthy, exclusive schools growing up. A day school in St. Louis, and then she came to Memphis and went to Rhodes College, which is, what, 50, 60,000 a year, I think, Shannon? Well, Judge Joe Brown said that he suspects that she was able to sneak off campus, and she basically got Memphis fried or something like that. In other words, that she was badly influenced by the culture of Memphis.
Yes, absolutely. And when I was growing up, I can count probably on one hand the number of times my parents went to downtown Dallas, because it was literally exactly what downtown Memphis is like now.
I mean, yeah, she looks like she's coming right off the set of a Tyler Perry movie. Shannon, let's listen to what Judge Joe Brown told me.
Okay.
It's not surprising she does what she does. She's fake. She could do with not being so fake about her wig weave here and her enormous barn door eyelashes. But I guess she's trying to put that on. And let's see. I think she was born March 29th, 1981. So that makes her 44 years old. And she's trying to put her age back a decade or two by the way she is carrying herself. And it's unbecoming and it's foolish. And it's also very insulting. I hope to her constituents that they would be impressed by somebody who dances and acts a general fool, uncouth, ill-mannered, impolite, rude, and trying to go to every cliche that it is imaginable. And I don't think our, 30th district would appreciate that.
Shannon, what gets me is there's a 44-year-old woman doing this.
Yeah. I honestly, she would fit in very well, apparently, on our city council.
Or that school board, right? Is Ben Dieter, isn't the school board mostly made up of women like Jasmine Crockett?
Absolutely.
No wonder the children can't read.
She'd probably be the ringleader.
Oh, jeez, Lou. Yeah, it's the craziest thing. Well, look, Shannon, I appreciate the intel there. Again, it appears that Jasmine Crockett does, in fact, represent her constituents quite well in the halls of Congress.
Yeah, I was just trying to give you a comparison, but that's pretty much what it is. It's a comparison between, Oak Cliff and Fraser and, Orange Mountain all together. So.
All right. Well, Shannon, thank you again for the call. Thank you for listening to KWAM, our flagship station in Memphis, Tennessee. Curious to hear from you. I mean, do you know of any 44-year-old, Ben Dieter, this woman could be your mother. Jasmine Crockett could be, she could have birthed you. That's how old this woman is.
She's acting like a kid. But again, don't sleep on it because Democrats are pushing her. I was reading an article about her fundraising right now. She's killing it. So the more that we continue just, again, propping her up, and again, I think it's important to expose just how fake, and I think that's when you talk about this woman, how you have to set up the story that she is a phony, she is fake, this is not actually Jasmine Crockett, and call her out and actually embarrass her because it is really embarrassing to be cosplaying as something that you're not. She is fundraising very well, though. That should tell you everything you need to know about the desperation for Democratic leadership, that this woman of all their quote-unquote leaders is fundraising well above the others in the party.
It does make you wonder, a party that is lost right now, the Democrats are lost. They're just lost. And they don't have an identity, and they don't have any authenticity, and I think that's the big issue. If Jasmine Crockett, look at AOC. She's claiming to be some sort of a Puerto Rican Evita when she's not. She went by the name Sandy when she was in high school. She was a bartender, for crying out loud. So these are all fakes and phonies and wannabes, and Jasmine Crockett's a wannabe gangsta. I got to tell you, though, I know the ghetto. I've driven around the ghetto, and I'm telling you, I don't think the ghetto would take somebody like Jasmine Crockett. They're like, whoa, she's too ghetto for us. I'm just saying, something is off there. But again, the media loves it, And if that's who the Democrats want as the leader of their party, then I say more power to you. Congratulations. I think that's going to work for you brilliantly. All right, got to take a break here. 901-260-5926 is our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. I will say this. If you had a white person up on Capitol Hill behaving like this, they would have been booted from office. They would have been censured. They would have been expelled from Congress. But the Republicans, they don't want to deal with this. They don't want to touch it. And again, if this is who the Democrats want, okay, who are we to say no? By the way, I've got to tell you, and I've got to brag on our friends at Old Glory Bank. They are really just crushing it right now and doing such a great job. Small businesses, hardworking Americans, they are embracing Old Glory Bank. And you know why? Because they've already said no against the cancel culture. They've said no against woke nonsense. It's just a bank that believes in faith, freedom, and the flag. And I want you to go and check them out and consider opening up an account today at oldglorybank.com/Starnes. That's oldglorybank.com/Starnes. You're going to be a part of something much, much bigger that's happening in this country. FDIC insured. Check them out today, oldglorybank.com/Starnes.
Truth and nothing but the truth. You're listening to Todd Starnes.
Everyone's goals for advancing their education look different. At Liberty University, we've helped thousands of students like you earn their dream degree. So no matter what your goal is, we can help you get there. With over 450 degrees from the associate to the doctoral level to choose from, most of which are 100% online, you'll find what you need to succeed. To discover which degree might be the best fit for you, text degree to 49595. That's degree to 49595.
The story of MyPillow is a testament to faith and transformation. Mike Lindell, once battling addiction, found a new path when he embraced faith and began following Jesus. In gratitude, Mike is excited to share an exclusive offer with our listeners. Right now, the standard MyPillow is available for just $14.88, a savings that's too good to pass up. There's a limit of 10 per customer, so don't wait to take advantage of this amazing deal now with promo code STARNS. Mike believes God gave him the idea for MyPillow in a dream, and it's designed with your comfort in mind. The pillow holds its shape and adapts perfectly to your unique sleep position, helping keep your neck aligned for the best night's sleep. And there's more. Take home a 4-piece kitchen set for only $25. Enjoy the new mattress topper at $99.99 or pick up the luxurious MyPillow bedsheet starting at $49.98. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS to unlock huge discounts. Don't miss out. Order today.
Attention, Patriots. Old Glory Bank, the bank for Main Street, not Wall Street, is now offering you a chance to own a piece of America's freedom economy. President and CEO Mike Ring recently testified before the Senate Banking Committee to fight for your banking freedom. Now you can join the fight by investing in Old Glory Bank. Visit own.oldglorybank.com to become an owner today. Investments involve risk, are not FDIC insured, and are not guaranteed. See our offering circular.
The story of MyPillow is a testament to faith and transformation. Mike Lindell, once battling addiction, found a new path when he embraced faith and began following Jesus. In gratitude, Mike is excited to share an exclusive offer with our listeners. Right now, the standard MyPillow is available for just $14.88, a savings that's too good to pass up. There's a limit of 10 per customer, so don't wait to take advantage of this amazing deal now with promo code STARNS. Mike believes God gave him the idea for MyPillow in a dream, and it's designed with your comfort in mind. The pillow holds its shape and adapts perfectly to your unique sleep position, helping keep your neck aligned for the best night's sleep. And there's more. Take home a 4-piece kitchen set for only $25. Enjoy the new mattress topper at $99.99 or pick up the luxurious MyPillow bedsheet starting at $49.98. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS to unlock huge discounts. Don't miss out. Order today.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All right, don't forget, 5 o'clock Eastern, folks, Newsmax 2, The Todd Stern Show. Hope you tune in and watch. Let's go back to the phone lines, 901-260-5926. Ron in Memphis, Tennessee joins us. Hi, Ron. What's on your mind today?
How are you? I'm doing well. It's pretty much my first time calling. Just having to listen by certain happenstance, I guess you could say. But you were talking about Crawford and her voting constituents. I just want to expound on some of the voting in black districts or, in blue cities. I was listening to the mayor of Memphis maybe a couple of weeks ago, and he said that when he ran for mayor, 17 people ran against him. How many of you think were probably Republicans?
Oh, do we have any Republicans running? I don't know.
Thank you. So who else the constituent was going to vote for when you got a down ballot of 17 Democrats and no Republicans, and you got so much voter apathy that's going on in black community? A lot of people don't vote, like myself, on local politics because I know nothing's going to change, and they know it also.
But Ron, what would it take to change though? Because I hear you, and I get just as frustrated as you. But what would it take to make that change?
Well, first of all, Republicans will have to come in and fight for fight for votes. Once you learn the game, you got the South Side Republican Party in Chicago. You got a group of black conservatives that had to start their own wing of the Republican Party. Just look it up. The South Side Republican Party, headed up by blacks. No support from the Republican Party. The game keeps going on for years and years. The Republican, we're the black conservatives that don't get invited to the picnic, the CPACs. People like Sonny Johnson, Hotel, Charles. Can't think of Charles' last name. Those are the ones that don't get. The game continues. Then they get the black-faced Republicans to come out with the same rhetoric that they've been saying for 60 years. And one thing the left is not afraid of, they're not afraid of black conservatives. What they're afraid of are black capitalists.
Now, I would agree with you there, Ron. Do you mind if I ask what part of Memphis do you live in?
I'd rather not say.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I was going to explain why, but I've been personally very involved in helping out the Whitehaven Republican Club launch, and they've been in existence for, 2 years now. Melanie Mosley, who's a great small business leader in the Whitehaven area, has been very instrumental there, and it's exciting to see the massive growth, and I'm excited to see the Republican Party in Memphis supporting the growth of the Whitehaven Republican Club. People like Pastor Fred Tappan, for example, a great Republican who is also black. So I have hope, but it's going to take a lot of work, Ron, and it can't be pandering. There has to be blunt authenticity here. And if we're going to save our city or St. Louis or Houston or any other major city, we're going to have to work together, and we're going to have to really be serious about it.
As you talking, hey, I've been saying that for years.
I believe it.
Yeah, you ever listen to Sonny? You heard of Sonny Johnson?
I have not, Ron. But I'll tell you what, I'll go look him up after the show.
Yeah, I hate to give her a plug on your show. She comes on Patriot Radio, Sirius.
Well,
XM, Saturday.
Okay. Well, I'll go check out the show.
Every Saturday at 12 o'clock. It's going to hurt.
All right.
It's going to hurt.
Ron,
that's going to be truthful.
Ron, what do you want the Republicans to do that they're not doing? What do they need to be doing to reach the black community?
Just said, just come in and fight. Come in and support black. The only one, the grassroots.
Ron, I appreciate your call, and I hear you, and I hope you'll keep listening to KWAM in Memphis. It's a great radio station, and what I love about KWAM is that you have people of all different persuasions calling in and talking and debating the issues. But there has to be authenticity, and for me, our family, we grew up in a neighborhood, and there was a lot of white flight back in the 1980s when crime exploded. And now Whitehaven, which was once, and Dieter, you don't know this because you're fairly new to the Memphis area, but Whitehaven used to be the strong white middle-class community in Memphis, and now it's the strong black middle-class community in Memphis. And you can see when you drive through the area all of the new development, and there's something exciting happening. And I think a lot of small business owners are just looking at the Republican Party saying, hey, we want to be a part of this. Do you want us to be a part of it? Ultimately, that's what it's really all about. 901-260-5926 is our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. And I hear I hear his frustration because there are a lot of people in cities like St. Louis, like Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for example. And you folks are out there saying there's got to be a better path forward here. The Democrats... And in a lot of cases, the Republicans are not even offering an alternative. Now, in defense of the Memphis mayor's race, it's a nonpartisan race. But still, there's no reason why the Republicans couldn't have put together a candidate, a very viable candidate, and run that candidate. Instead, they supported a conservative Democrat, and it just didn't work out. And now, unfortunately, we have a mayor, a very nice person, but woefully unqualified to lead this city. And it's showing. I mean, Memphis, one of the most dangerous cities in America. St. Louis, one of the most dangerous cities in America. Look at what's happening in Houston. We just told you, your mayor just announced they've got 900 people charged with murder, and they were set free, and now they're walking the streets of Houston, Texas. Does that make you feel safer? I don't think so. I want to play some audio here. There is a big fight in a small community in North Carolina, Monroe, North Carolina, and the citizens there are really concerned about drag shows. And for whatever reason, they've got a lot of drag queens in this community. And so the gentleman you're about to hear, his name is William Wolf, and he is very involved in Baptist politics, and he's conservative, and he's illustrating here how people of faith should be engaging the culture in a winsome way. He was addressing the local town council about the drag queen situation. Let's take a listen.
I'm here today as a citizen of our city, but more importantly, I'm here today as a father of 3 young boys. I went to Metro Carolina Christian Academy, left in 2006 for college, lived out of state for a while, but in 2023, it was time to come back home. And when I did, I was shocked to learn that something as harmful to our children as so-called all-age drag shows was happening right here in the heart of our city. Because last I checked, I didn't move home to San Francisco or Seattle. I came back to Union County. And I was further shocked and disappointed to learn that our city council, which I hear the most of you claim to be conservatives or Christians, has failed to take decisive action to protect the children of this city. And we need to be clear about what exactly is happening here, because all-age drag shows is a euphemism that hides a much darker truth. What's happening at these shows is nothing more than an excuse for perverted adult men to act out a degenerate sexual fetish in front of children. It's not entertainment, it's child abuse. We don't allow all-age strip clubs in this county. Why? Because we know that these things harm children. Yet here we are tolerating this under the guise of inclusivity, letting groomers prance around in front of our kids in a public restaurant. So as a Christian, I want to close by calling on you to do what's right in the eyes of God according to Romans 13, 1-7, which charges government officials to be those who promote what is good and punish what is evil. Because this isn't just a public policy debate. This is a moral imperative. These shows mock moral decency, endanger our children, and defy God. So I implore you, no more backroom deals or private handshakes. Take public action and ban these outright. Thank you.
Well, it was really a great speech there by Mr. Wolf. And by the way, this is how Christians should behave in public at these types of city council meetings. There's no screaming, no hollering, no interruption. Went up there, said his piece, and sat back down. But, it's interesting. The city council decided to vote down pursuing ways to define drag shows like this as adult entertainment. So as it now stands, children can still go to drag shows there in Monroe, North Carolina. It's shocking. But and you heard the guy there saying, I know most of you up there, you say you're conservative, you say you are Christian, but you're supporting this? This makes absolutely no sense. And the reason why is that they're afraid. It's the same reason that Justice Amy Coney Barrett has turned left. You know why she turned left? Is because she's scared. They started targeting her family, going after her sister, going after her children. And so what happened? Justice Barrett, because she was scared, has decided to start voting alongside the Democrats or the liberals on the Supreme Court. That's ultimately what's going on up in Washington, D.C. with the Supreme Court. Anyway, good luck to Mr. Wolf and all the good Baptists and Christians there in Monroe, North Carolina. We hope you're able to put a stop to these all-ages drag shows. All right, folks, got to call it a day. Tonight, 5 o'clock Eastern on Newsmax. Be sure to watch the Todd Starnes Show. Get out there, folks. Have a great one. You be good, America. For 10 years now, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And when I say only, trust me, they're the only one. And they have been great supporters of the Todd Starnes radio show. That's why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all 3 major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've always been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support free speech and religious freedom and the sanctity of life. And by the way, their 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes it easy to switch. You can keep your number, you keep your phone, or you can upgrade because they sell phones too. Go to PatriotMobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's PatriotMobile.com/Todd. You get free activation today with the offer code Todd. That's a $30 value. PatriotMobile.com/Todd